Southwest Airlines has gone ahead and given plus size people um, extra seats on the plane to handle their girth for free. Meaning, if my name is Joe Bob and I'm 500 pounds because I eat like shit and I lay around and I don't do shit, and then I eat like shit and I lay around and then I sleep, then I wake up and I eat like shit, then I don't do shit, then I lay around on my ass and then I wake up, and then if I'm Joe Bob and I do all that and I'm 500 pounds and I all of a sudden have to fly somewhere and be somewhere because apparently there's at some point I do something, I'm gonna get an extra seat for my big fat ass. So how do I feel about that? I, as a person who like to make videos that like 2.5 people see, about narcissism and entitled behavior, am absolutely repulsed by it. I'm very disappointed in it, and I do think we're going the way of the dodo bird. We're going the way of Wally. We're going the way of so many stupid dystopian fucking downward slides. I can't even tell you. So I need to understand why these people are now being given a victim status. Now, I work in healthcare, okay? I'm not insensitive to the pain that an overweight person goes through. I know that it causes them a lot of problems. I can list them off, okay? It makes their legs hurt. You got to carry around all that girth, okay? It makes it so that they are at a greater risk for diabetes. It makes it so that they are at a greater risk for heart failure. It makes it so that they are at a greater risk for pulmonary hypertension, all kinds of respiratory disorders for that matter. Why? Because you got a lot of fat sitting on your chest, and when you sleep at night, you got girth just pushing down on your chest. Okay? So I'm not insensitive to the fact that they are actually dealing with problems, but just like a drug addict who's dealing with the repercussions of overindulging in drugs or alcohol or whatever other vice, I do simultaneously recognize that it's their fucking fault. If you're 300 pounds, that's not an accident. The human animal was not built to be 300 fucking pounds unless you're a freak of nature like Shaquille O'Neal or something like that, where you just tall as shit and built and swole and just a girthy guy or a girthy woman. Unless you're that person that's like one in fucking 100,000 or something, you're not meant to be that fucking big unless you're a defensive end on the most dominant NFL team. You are not meant to be that fucking big. So I've always had an issue with the acceptance movement. Even before I became a healthcare professional, I had an issue with the fat acceptance movement because what it does is it takes the responsibility out of people's hands, and it makes it so that anybody who has a logical or even a care based criticism for a fat person's behavior, because that's what it is. I'm not saying plus size. You're not plus size, you're fat. If you have a criticism of this fat person's behavior, you're then a bad person. You're then, they're now saying, you know, what springs to mind is they're now saying, oh, you're racist if you don't like uh, great big fat people. You're racist if you don't like someone who sweats in December like a whore in church. You're racist if you don't want somebody with a big paniculus. Do you know what a paniculus is? Let me break that shit down for you, okay? And it's late at night, so I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope I'm not forgetting my terms. A paniculus is a thing you see when you see a great big fat person walking down the street and they've got that big sheet of fat that kind of just swings down. They always wear the big shirts, the big long shirts. It hides nothing. You see it. You see that swinging paniculus. It's literally an apron of fat. Okay? When you see that, you're not supposed to say, whoa, That looks unhealthy. I don't think you should have that. Maybe you should work on it. You're supposed to say, oh my God. Oh my God. I love it. I love a woman with atherosclerosis at 25. Look it up. Yeah, I love a beautiful lady with intense varicose veins and cankles, no definition between your ankle and your leg. I love that. I love a woman with 37 chins. You know, or a man. I love a man who has bigger titties than me. If you're a lady or just any type of person with tits, I love a man who looks down and can't see his own cock. I love that. And if you don't say all that shit, you're racist, because what they've done is they hide behind the whole black constant victimization thing of, oh, black people generally come in bigger bodies, so if you're hating on fat people, you must really not like black people. Well, I'm sitting here black as fuck and skinny in my late 30s, and every time I go to the doctor, he gives me a pat on the back and says that my cholesterol is amazing, that my blood tests are a marvel, and that I'm doing well. I run laps around people who are like 15 years younger than me. I run fucking laps around them at work. They're all overweight by about 30, 40, 50 pounds. They all look tired. They all want to, hey, can I leave real quick? I'm a supervisor. Can I leave real quick? I just want to run to Del Taco. Hey, boss, yo, can I go somewhere? I just wanted to go pick up a burger. I'm starving. I know I had lunch, but I'm starving. It's right down the street. Can I just run out real quick, boss? Now, I'm a nice boss. I'm a nice guy. These videos may not seem like it, but I'm actually a pretty nice guy. And I'm like, oh, fuck it. There ain't no skin off my nose. Go. So long as your work is done and the people are taken care of and you're not going to leave anybody in a bad place, and the bed isn't left high and nobody's at risk of falling, I don't give a shit what you do. Did you finish your documentation? Well, go on and get your diabetes then. Go get it. I'm not a fucking fascist. But I see these kids, they gotta sit down, they gotta fucking get on the phone and do the thing, and we all do it. But when I'm looking at them, I'm like, that's the last thing you need to do. You need to be doing laps. You need to be drinking water. You need to be doing some push-ups. I don't care if you do it on the facility floor. But I digress, right? I have to say, I think this is a terrible decision. Um, I'm saying it's a new thing. I've read articles that say, no, it's always been in place or blah, blah, blah. So there's a chance that this shit could have already been going on, which is bad. What you don't do is make it easier for people to put a gun to their head and blow the trigger. That's what you don't do. And when you enable these big lard goblins to go into places and get double the services and double the access and double the fucking privileges that a disciplined person who knows how to push the fuck away from the table gets, all you're doing is promoting that. What you're doing is standing at the finish line of their death, right? Their death is the finish line, and here you are waving the flags like, come on down. Keep eating. We'll give you another seat. Okay? Keep eating. We'll give you another seat. Keep drinking. If you're too drunk to come to work, we'll let you stay home. Paid. Keep smoking crack. We'll bail you out. Come on. I really think there is a vested interest in reducing the population. I really think there is a vested interest in also, for those that survive, having a population that is too weak, too lethargic, and too disenchanted with itself to fight back if some fucked up shit rolls through or is introduced by the government. I truly believe that. And I think a lot of other people are picking up on that too. Now, I don't claim to be a stalwart of virtue or of the peak of health. I got a little bit of a doughy gut, and sometimes I like to have a beer sometimes when I come home. Sometimes I have a couple of those. That's not good to do every day. That's not even good to do every week. I'm not sitting here perfect by any means. I'm currently in good health. But that could change if I don't fucking do things different. Everyone can improve. But why this is so egregious is because if you already need 2 seats, guess what? You already fucked up. There is no tomorrow. You're already fucked up. You're already big as shit. And what does that say to the person? And you know, you can be a chubby person and still fit in 1 seat. I'm not saying this is skinny versus fat, people with washboard abs versus people the size of Lizzo. There are a lot of people in between, and they're getting hit too. If you're just some chubby lady and you can fit in 1 seat, and you want to, let's say you want to go to New Zealand and you've saved your whole life to go to New Zealand, right? Yeah, it might be a tight fit, but you can sit there and you can enjoy the ride that your expensive ass ticket is providing you. What's fucked up is the 400, 500 pounder fucking grease goblin to the fucking right of you gets to spread out and chill out and have their purse and their laptop and all their other shit and whatever else and the fucking window seat and all this and be truly comfortable at half the cost. That's what that is to me. I don't care if you're going to designate it as free. No, that shit counts. They're getting half the cost, right? They're getting double the service, half the cost. And that necessarily means that someone who really wanted to get on that plane, really wanted to use that airline, really wanted to have that departure time, if everything's booked up, that person just got screwed by a fucking lard goblin because that person took up that last seat that that other person could have taken. It's terrible. It's terrible. And these plus size people don't think of it. Now, I saw a video, and I think this was connected to this young lady. This young lady who was very obese, very big, you know, didn't look to be terribly tall, so probably pushing 300 something pounds maybe. And she's walking through excuse me, through the plane, and she's walking through the aisles, and she has to scoot through and do all this, and oh look, and oh my ass and my stomach is bumping up against everything, and oh look at this. Can you imagine if this was you? And I'm like, no, I can't, because I don't eat like a fucking horse. No, I can't imagine that. I've never had that experience. I got a little chubby in my 20s because I was going out partying, not cooking, eating chili fries, and me and my friends are ordering pitchers of beer and hanging out and running all over the town. And I look down and I'm like, oh shit, look pregnant. You know? Did something about it immediately, lost it immediately. So, no, I can't really relate to being a fucking taco terrorist like that. Um, you know, and I don't know why she acted like the way they did it. It was like sad music, and it was like, oh, isn't this terrible? And I'm like, okay, so here's what I know about weight gain, right? As I'm watching this video, because it's so sad and it's supposed to play in your heart, and you're supposed to feel bad because she eats Haagen Dazs, you know, like via IV drip. You're supposed to feel bad for her. I'm thinking to myself, did this girl go to sleep 5'4" and 110 pounds and wake up 5'4" and 350 pounds? Am I stupid? Am I unaware of a fat werewolf phenomenon where you get bit by a fat werewolf and you just wake up and turn into a big old biggin? Did I miss that? Because I really stay offline in terms of looking at all the different movements because they just piss me off. When I catch them, but I don't look for them because it's just, it incenses me. Was it that, or was it the fact that this young lady Okay, this butterball eats a lot, sits on her ass, eats a lot, sits on her fucking ass, uh, eats a lot over here, sits on her ass, probably goes to Starbucks a lot. That's about a cup full. That's a cup of sugar. That's all Starbucks is. Especially, particularly if you want to get all the little fraps and all the little sweet drinks and all the little whipped creamy drinks and with the extra splash of caramel and blah blah blah. So you're drinking a cup of sugar and you're probably eating cheesy eggs for breakfast and you're probably doing this and that and the third. You know, could it be that? Could it be a sedentary lifestyle and an overload of calories? The average woman needs about 2,000 calories a day. The average man needs about 2,500. You know, could it be that you're getting more than that and you're not burning them off? You know what I'm saying? It's pretty simple. It's like a bank account. You got to load in the account. But if you don't want your account bursting, which why wouldn't you? This is a horrible example. But if you don't want your account to be that high, you also have to withdraw money. Exercising is withdrawing money. Eating is depositing money. Exercise is withdrawing it. And then you stay at a nice little balance, don't you? Horrible example, but you got it. I'll say I think, okay, and this will be the summation of this. The fat acceptance movement thing, that shit, which I guess this is like 8, 9 years ago when I started really seeing this shit come out, was the beginning of the nonsense. Was the beginning of the bullshit, was the beginning of the you can't point out the elephant in the room, the elephant being this fat influencer who can't walk down plain aisles and now needs 2 seats for a big, dumbo, what is it, Dumbo, jumbo ass. That was the beginning of the nonsense. The putting fatties on the cover of Sports Illustrated and the oh she's beautiful and they put her in the commercial and it's like we're all supposed to agree she's beautiful or he's beautiful or they are beautiful or whatever you are and we're supposed to go along with it. It's horse shit, and it was the beginning of the horse shit. I think it's terrible. I think it's narcissism, and I hope something's done about it.